680. All right, got through it all. Let's bring our guest analyst in, Mr. Oliver Slope. He's with Blue Line Futures in Chicago. Oliver, thank you very much for being on. Okay, I just kind of went through it all there. We had a little bit of a different schedule here this afternoon, but what jumps out at you the most? I mean, what are you most excited about or talking about? And by the way, maybe it's what the producers are calling you and wanting to talk about. I don't know if you've got a little bit of a different story to tell.
Well, I'm excited about the volatility. The volatility has been great. There's been a lot of opportunities for participants on both sides of the market.
Absolutely.
And really, kind of a trader's paradise when things are moving. And it's not just in the agricultural markets, it's a lot of the outside markets as well, a lot of activity. Talking about the grain specifically, we're very, very oversold on a short-term basis. So this relief rally, I think, has been warranted on the back of some friendly headlines. And that May corn contract basically just retested Monday's high with today's high near 473. That's going to be a bit of an inflection point. If we can get out above there, maybe we go retest the 50-day moving average and the 50% retracement from the drawdown. That comes in closer to 480. But getting out above there without any new additional news, I think might be a little bit of a struggle. So if just, late last week you're saying, man, I wish I would have hedged some stuff in the mid 470s, 480. Well, here's another opportunity to look at that. And I think you could probably say the same thing with beans. 1035 to 1040 in that May contract is going to be an inflection point. That was the breakdown point from February 28th. So what we're seeing is just basically a lot of retracements off of deeply oversold levels.
I mean, is there going to be a time? I'll tell you what, that's a loaded question. I think there'll be a time in the not too distant future that we still slowly but surely start to get back to just trading these fundamentals. I mean, it's hard to be whipped around by this tariff talk every 5 seconds when we've got a little bit of a drought building. We could have some tightness in corn. I mean, there's stories all over the map when it comes to ags, and I think slowly but surely those kind of bubble up to the top. What do you think?
Oh, 100%. I mean, you see the volatility expansion, you see the trading ranges expand, and we're going to come back into an equilibrium. And slowly, I think the markets will become a little bit more numb to the daily headlines regarding trade and tariffs, and we'll be able to work past that. It's like anything. It's like with the old trade war. It's like when Russia invaded Ukraine. Eventually, the market becomes a little bit more numb to the day-to-day back and forth. But right now, a lot of this is algos and emotional trading as well. And when you have an emotional trade, you start to see things fly around as well. The average true range for corn and wheat over the last 2 weeks is about 14 cents. I don't know what beans is off the top of my head, but I wouldn't be surprised to see that narrow up, especially into the springtime. Once we get past the end of the month report, the prospective plantings report, that's when the fundamentals really take center stage for the grain markets.
You almost scared me there for a second because you said, like the old days, the old trade war days, and you said Russia, and then you said Russia-Ukraine. But, there was a time in the 70s, maybe you've heard about it or not, because I remember my father throwing furniture around the house because some days were ultra bad. But it was when Russia basically bought up all of our grain, and they called it the Great Grain Robbery. I don't know if you've ever heard of that story.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I thought you were going to go back that far in this little chat here, and I thought, well, I better brush up because I do have a few things I can say about it, but maybe he's an expert in the Great Grain Robbery. But that's a great example about, what type of international trade can do. But I think nowadays, with what we've got going on with our own tariffs, I think that ultimately the market's going to get tired of them and just start trading those fundamentals.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what we're going to see. It's a fun and exciting time right now, especially at the end of the last year. It was almost like watching paint dry in some of these markets. So it is a fun environment to be in. Certainly, it is exhausting by the end of the day, similar to watching my 2-year-old all day. It's fun, but by the end of the day, you're like, man, I need a break.
All right, great to talk to you. Thank you very much for that, Oliver. Oliver Slope coming to us from Chicago. He's with Blue Line Futures. We're going to go away.